Hello, my friends. How are you? Shall we continue with another story? Thank you for subscribing. Let's go. Have you ever wondered if there is something on Earth so ancient and sacred that it defies time and human logic? Something that has traversed millennia, protecting secrets that no one has yet been able to unravel? In Ethiopia, there are accounts of an object that is not just history, but a living presence. The true Ark of the Covenant. Guarded by generations of monks, surrounded by legends and mysteries, it carries energy, symbols, and teachings that connect humanity to the divine. Imagine walking through ancient temples, where every stone, every corner, seems to whisper forgotten stories. Imagine feeling a presence that observes your thoughts, as if the sacred itself were testing your faith. This is the experience described in the accounts from Axum, an ark that challenges historians, archaeologists, and curious minds from all over the world. What makes the ark so special? It's its symbols, its energy, its stories, and its power to transform an entire civilization. The whole of Ethiopia, its culture, religion, and art, were shaped by it. But there are still more secrets that few have dared to explore. If you enjoy delving into ancient mysteries, hidden cultures, and stories that defy time, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments which part of the world you're watching from. Get ready, because on this journey we will discover secrets that official history has never told, energies that span millennia, and the wisdom of a tradition that remains alive to this day. In the heart of Ethiopia, nestled between sky-high mountains and silent deserts, lies a legend spanning millennia. It speaks of a sacred ark, guardian of divine secrets, that has vanished from known history but never from human imagination. Every stone, every temple whispers of the presence of something more than metal and wood. It's as if time itself bows before it, concealing mysteries that no one dares to fully unravel. Some say its light still shines, though no one can truly see it. The wind carries stories of ancient travelers and kings who crossed the desert in search of this relic. Some speak of Menelik I, son of the legendary King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, who is said to have brought the ark to Axum, protecting it from prying eyes. Every step of Ethiopian tradition is marked by reverence, as if each word tells of powers that shape the faith of an entire nation. The mere echo of his name awakens respect and mystery, leaving clues hidden in the shadows. And so, the story begins, shrouded in secrecy and symbolism. The nights in Axum carry an almost sacred silence, broken only by the sound of chants echoing from the ancient temples. Guardian monks watch over the ark with dedication and absolute silence, as if each breath were part of an ancestral ritual. Those who enter feel something indescribable, a weight of stories and knowledge that cannot be learned from books. And yet, the outside world barely suspects what lies there, hidden beneath layers of devotion and tradition. It is a mystery that defies time, awaiting attentive eyes and prepared hearts. Whispers about lights and strange phenomena accompany curious travelers who approach the temple. Some claim to have felt the presence of the ark, as if an ancient energy touched them from within. It's as if the very essence of the divine were contained within that object, pulsating with a wisdom that defies human comprehension. Each account increases the fascination, making it impossible to separate history from myth, reality from faith. And so, the legend continues, inviting those who seek the truth to move forward. But what is truly kept within the temple walls? What has the ark witnessed over millennia, amidst kings, wars, and silent devotion? These secrets are about to be revealed, albeit subtly, to those willing to listen attentively. Each detail of the story brings a fragment of ancestral knowledge that connects Africa to the sacred history of humanity. And it is in this mystery, in this invisible thread that unites past and present, that the true journey begins, inviting the viewer to continue unraveling the next chapter. Thousands of years ago, in northeastern Africa, stood the kingdom of Axum, a land of gold, incense, and precious stones. Its cities teemed with merchants from distant lands, bringing stories and objects from places many never dreamed of. Each trade route seemed to pulse with energy, connecting the heart of Ethiopia to regions as far away as Arabia and India. The kingdom was a crossroads of cultures, where daily life blended with spirituality and ancestral wisdom. And, amidst this ebb and flow of peoples and riches, something sacred remained protected. Axum was not merely a commercial center, it was also an epicenter of faith and power. Its temples stood imposingly, reminding visitors that something greater than any material wealth resided there. The kings of Axum were revered as intermediaries between the human and divine worlds, and each decision echoed through the following centuries. Stone roads and bustling ports guarded secrets of ancient alliances and rituals. Thus, history intertwined with legend, creating an aura of mystery that still fascinates scholars today. Among the bazaars and markets, travelers brought not only merchandise, but also tales of gods and ancient civilizations. Spices and gold passed through hands, and with each exchange new stories emerged, each more intriguing than the last. Axum became a cultural melting pot, where the sacred and the mundane coexisted, and where the Ark of the Covenant, according to tradition, would find its safe haven. The energy of the place seemed to guard every secret, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. The kingdom was also the stage for wars and strategic alliances, where diplomacy often intertwined with spirituality. Kings negotiated not only lands, but also the protection of sacred relics, aware of their eternal value. Each stone in the ancient cities carried echoes of ceremonies and secrets that withstood the test of time. The inhabitants of Axum learned from an early age to live in harmony with the divine, respecting the power that surrounded them. And so, the history of Axum became part of the great mystery surrounding the Ark and its legends. Even today, contemplating the ruins and temples of the kingdom of Axum, it's possible to feel the presence of bygone eras. The wind carries ancient secrets, and each monument seems to whisper stories that books don't tell. The kingdom guarded riches, wisdom, and above all, mysteries that remain alive in Ethiopian tradition. It's as if Axum was chosen to protect that which even time dared not touch. And it is in this grand setting that the next secret, the origin of the Ark tradition, begins to reveal itself. Nestled among mountains that seem to touch the clouds, the city of Axum holds secrets that withstand the test of time. The air is dry and fragrant, laden with incense and millennia of history, while stone paths lead to silent temples. Each stone, each arch, each mural seems to whisper ancient stories, as if the wind itself were a messenger. The scenery is both majestic and mysterious, inviting the traveler to listen more than to see. And amidst shadows and light, something sacred rests, awaiting attentive eyes. The temples rise with an imposing presence that defies gravity and time, built to withstand the centuries. Within their walls, chants echo, reflecting the devotion of generations who dedicated their lives to guarding something greater. The windows filter the sunlight in golden rays, illuminating corridors that seem like pathways to other worlds. It's as if each room contains secrets that cannot be revealed to just anyone. And, in this sacred silence, the presence of the Ark seems palpable. Beyond the temples, the churches of Axum display meticulous details, from ancient paintings to sculptures that narrate forgotten legends. Each image has a meaning, each symbol a veiled message, waiting for someone who knows how to interpret it. The floor, covered with carpets and sacred stones, absorbs footsteps and stories, carrying memories that blend with time itself. The city's geography, with its hills and valleys, creates a labyrinth of mystery. And in this environment, the secrets of the Ark remain protected, invisible to ordinary curious onlookers. The surrounding mountains, desolate and silent, guard the temple like stone guardians. At dawn, a light mist envelopes the scene, giving the impression that the sacred and the physical world merge. The rising sun paints the temples with golden hues, while long shadows dance along the corridors and staircases. Each visitor feels that they are not just in Axum, but at a meeting point between the human and the divine. And so, the setting creates the perfect atmosphere for the mysteries to unfold. At night, the silence deepens, broken only by the chants of the monks and the wind that sweeps through valleys and mountains. The city seems to breathe with its own rhythm, guarding secrets that no one dares to touch. Each stone, each temple, each path is a silent testament to past eras, a direct link to the history and spirituality of Ethiopia. The atmosphere is both welcoming and enigmatic, inviting discovery and contemplation. And it is in this mystical setting that the story of the Ark's origin begins to unfold. Legend says that the Ark of the Covenant, that sacred chest laden with divine secrets, emerged in the history of the people of Israel, shaping the faith and lives of kings and prophets. It held laws, messages from God, and an energy that only the chosen ones could understand. But Ethiopian tradition reveals a little-known chapter. The Ark was supposedly taken to African lands, crossing deserts and oceans. Among stories of kings and gods, an ancient narrative points to Menelik I as the protagonist of this great secret. Son of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, he is said to have brought the Ark to Axum, guarding it forever. Menelik I, according to Ethiopian chronicles, was not just a prince, but someone destined to unite kingdoms and knowledge. When he visited his father, Solomon, he brought with him not only his lineage, but also the responsibility of protecting the most powerful relic in the world. The Ark, shrouded in mystery, became a symbol of power and spirituality, capable of influencing kings and peoples. Each of Menelik's steps echoed with the weight of millennia, and each decision carried a connection between the divine and humanity. And so, the Ark's destiny began to intertwine with African history. The story of the Ark's journey is told in sacred books and oral traditions, which speak of caravans, ceremonies, and a journey marked by signs and miracles. Arid lands, mighty rivers, and imposing mountains were crossed with devotion and absolute secrecy. Each night was illuminated by a silent hope, each step taken with faith and reverence. The journey of Menelik and the Ark became legend, and to this day inspires those who seek to understand the connection between Africa and the sacred narratives of the Middle East. Tradition still describes how the Ark was received in Axum with celebrations that mixed joy, fear, and respect. The guardians, chosen from among the most devout, were tasked with protecting it, never revealing its whereabouts to the world. Thus, the sacred and the human met in rituals that shaped the religious and cultural identity of Ethiopia. Each gesture, each song, and each prayer was a link to the past, preserving a wisdom that seemed to defy time. And in this context, the mystery only deepened, as if inviting curiosity. Even after millennia, the origin of the Ethiopian tradition about the Ark remained shrouded in questions and enigmas. How could such a powerful object have crossed continents without being lost? What secrets does it hold about faith, history, and human spirituality? The narrative of Menelik I and the Ark leads us to reflect on the connection between distant worlds, different peoples, and the wisdom hidden behind ancient legends. And it is at this point that the hidden symbols and meanings of the Ark begin to reveal themselves. In Ethiopia's ancestral memory, Menelik I emerges not only as a man, but as a symbol of union between two worlds. On one side, the golden glow of Solomon's temple. On the other, the incandescent sun of the African lands. His birth, the fruit of the union between the wise king and the queen of Sheba, represents the fusion of ancient wisdoms, the balance between reason and intuition. Menelik's destiny seemed traced by the stars, and his mission, guided by something greater than himself. He was the messenger of a divine promise that would transcend generations. The Ark, in turn, is more than an object. It is a living character within the legend. It is said that it chooses where to rest, that it senses the hearts of those who guard it. Its presence transforms the space, alters the air, awakens the reverent silence of those who approach. When it was taken from the Holy Land, it did not flee, but followed the flow of destiny, guided by invisible forces. And, upon arriving in Ethiopian lands, it found rest where the spiritual and the human intertwine in perfect harmony. Menelik and his guardians traveled through scorching deserts, guided by dreams, signs, and voices carried on the wind. Each night was marked by visions, by omens of light that indicated the way. Many believed that the angels themselves protected the caravan, watching over the path of the divine relic. The journey was long and full of trials, but destiny seemed to be firmly written in the sands of time. With each step, the mystery of the Ark became deeper and more captivating. When they finally set foot on Ethiopian soil, the people greeted them with songs and tears. The arrival of the Ark was celebrated as the return of divine presence to earth, a blessing that would transform the nation forever. Menelik, young and wise, was seen as the bearer of a new era, a leader who united lineages and kingdoms under the same sacred purpose. The fusion of cultures gave rise to a unique spiritual legacy that has endured through the centuries. And so, myth became history, and history eternity. The presence of the Ark in Ethiopia came to shape the faith, politics, and identity of an entire people. It was the link between heaven and earth, between the past and the future, a symbol that the divine knows no boundaries. Menelik fulfilled his mission, but the Ark's journey was far from over. Each generation inherited the duty of protecting it, nurturing the mystery that still echoes in chants and prayers. And it is from this living presence that the hidden symbols and meanings surrounding the Ark arise to this day. The Ark of the Covenant is more than an artifact. It is a mirror of the divine reflected in the world of men. Made of pure gold, its brilliance carries the symbol of perfection and eternity. Gold, an incorruptible metal, represents the immortal spirit and the light that never fades. Every detail of its structure was molded according to celestial instructions, and every inch seems to pulsate with the energy of something that transcends matter. It is as if within it rests the secret of creation itself. The cherubim on the lid, with outstretched wings, are not merely ornaments. They guard the mystery of the invisible presence, the space where the divine touches the physical world. Their wings meet above the most sacred point, called the mercy seat, where the voice of God is said to have spoken to the ancient prophets. Between them, there is a light that, they say, does not belong to this world, a flame that does not burn, but illuminates the soul of whoever dares to contemplate it. A fire that reveals itself only to those who see with their hearts. In many African traditions, the Ark is also a symbol of inner spiritual power, the invisible force that dwells within human beings. It represents hidden knowledge, the gift of understanding the invisible, and the balance between the sacred and the earthly. Guarding the Ark is, therefore, guarding oneself, protecting one's own spirit from the corruption of the world. The ancients said that whoever approached it without purity was consumed by its energy, for light does not tolerate falsehood. Thus, the Ark not only blesses, it also judges. The gold and light emanating from the Ark are described as manifestations of the spiritual sun, the same source of energy venerated by various ancient African cultures. The ark's brilliance is compared to the inner light of the awakened man, the one who attains wisdom and communion with the divine. It silently teaches that true power lies not in possession, but in understanding. That the sacred does not impose itself by force, but by presence. And, therefore, its energy remains inaccessible to the profane. Those who dedicate themselves to studying it claim that the ark is a living mystery, a portal between the visible and the invisible. Its symbolism transcends religions and civilizations, always pointing to the same truth. There is something greater than man, something that observes and guides him. Perhaps that is why the ark has never fully revealed itself, because it is, above all, a mirror. And it is this mirror that reflects the rituals, beliefs, and spiritual interpretations that surround it to this day. Inside the Church of St. Mary of Zion, time seems to bow before the sacred. Monks walk silently, their steps rhythmic, keeping alive a tradition that spans centuries. Each gesture, each act of reverence, carries the history of those who protect something older than human memory. The doors close to the curious, but open to the spirit that seeks to understand. The atmosphere breathes faith, silence, and mystery, as if each stone held a secret. The guarding ceremonies are performed with absolute rigor, always at the same time, always with the same devotion. Ancient chants echo through the corridors, narrating stories of kings, prophets, and miracles associated with the Arkansas. During these celebrations, light filters through stained glass windows, subtly, almost ethereally, illuminating the relic. For the guardians, it is not just devotion. It is an oath, a responsibility that transcends the life of any human being. And so, each ritual strengthens the bond between man and the divine. The role of the monks goes beyond the simple physical protection of the Arkansas. They are the intermediaries between the sacred and humankind, interpreting signs, preserving traditions, and maintaining the spiritual balance of the community. Their silence is not empty, it is a language of its own, full of meaning and reverence. Every word spoken out of turn could break the delicate thread that connects the present to the sacred past. And in this silence, the mystery remains intact, waiting to be understood by those who are prepared. Purification rituals accompany each visit to the ark, where touches, gestures, and prayers are performed with extreme precision. Water, incense, and sacred chants combine to create an atmosphere of introspection and respect. It is believed that the ark responds to the purity of the heart, guiding or warning according to the intention of those who approach. Every movement of the guardians is studied, every step has a purpose. Thus, the environment transforms into a space where the human touches the divine without ever fully possessing it. And despite the rigidity of the rules and the monk's discipline, there is something vibrant in the air, a silent invitation to mystery. Those who observe from the outside sense that there, amidst chants and shadows, an ancient energy pulsates, defying time and reason. It is as if the ark, even hidden, speaks through traditions and rituals, leaving subtle clues for the attentive. And it is in this invisible thread between the sacred and the human that the next mysteries, even deeper, begin to reveal themselves. Some scholars and ancient travelers suggest that the Ark of the Covenant carries echoes of distant cultures, like an invisible thread connecting ancient worlds. From Egypt to the Middle East, similar symbols and rituals appear in temples and monuments, as if a common wisdom had traveled along with the Arkansas. Each stone erected, each design carved, holds signs of spiritual knowledge that transcend borders. Ethiopian tradition, therefore, becomes a bridge between the African sacred and the mysticism of distant civilizations. And, in this intersection, history reveals itself to be more complex and fascinating. The connection with Israel is the most direct. After all, the Ark was born in the hands of prophets and kings of that people. But upon arriving in Ethiopia, it absorbed new energies, new interpretations and meanings, becoming more than an artifact. It became a universal symbol. In every rite, in every prayer, the influence of other cultures blends with local tradition, as if the Ark were a migrating spirit, carrying stories from distant lands. This fusion of cultures creates a veil of mystery that defies time. In Egypt, relics and chants recall the same divine power, the same invisible forces that the Ark represents. Parallels can be seen between purification rituals, sacred guardians, and objects of spiritual protection. The Ark, therefore, could be seen as a living link, connecting not only peoples but also spiritual and symbolic wisdom. Each trace of gold, each sculpted figure, reflects a silent dialogue between cultures that never physically met. And it is in this dialogue that the mystery deepens. In Mesopotamia, the idea of sacred objects that hold divine knowledge and energy also appears in ancient inscriptions and temples. It is as if the Ark were a manifestation of a shared spiritual archetype, present in different corners of the ancient world. This presence suggests that certain universal secrets transcend geography, language, and time, showing that humanity has always sought to understand the divine through symbols and sacred objects. And thus, the Ark becomes a key to these global mysteries. The Ark's hidden connections reveal that it does not belong to a single people or history. It is a silent testament to humanity's quest for understanding, protection, and union with the sacred. Each culture that touched its myth added layers of meaning. Each ritual left traces of reverence. At the same time, the Ark remained intact, immune to official history, preserving the power that inspires and fascinates to this day. And it is this invisible network of influences that prepares the ground for the conflicts and challenges we will see next. The Ark of the Covenant remains shrouded in mystery, as no physical proof has ever been shown to the world. Archaeologists and historians have tried to trace its location, but the walls of Axum guard secrets that resist any investigation. Every attempt at recording is met with silence or closed doors, as if the Ark itself decides who can see it. It is an object that defies logic, remaining between myth and reality, invisible, yet present in the collective imagination. And in this silence, stories emerge that no one dares to forget. Foreign visitors recount enigmatic experiences as they approach the Church of St. Mary of Zion. Some speak of an energy that prevents them from proceeding, others of an uncontrollable feeling of reverence. No photographic or material record was permitted, only accounts that sound almost supernatural. Each description adds layers to the mystery, strengthening the belief that the Ark is not just an object, but a living presence. And so, the enigma remains, inviting the imagination to fill in what cannot be seen. Legends speak of invisible signs protecting the Ark, sudden lights, mysterious winds, and voices that warn the unwary. Researchers who ventured in search of evidence speak of doors that close on their own and paths that disappear. The very geography of Axum seems to conspire to protect the sacred, enveloping the temple in an aura that only devotees understand. Each difficulty reinforces the idea that some secrets were not meant to be unveiled by ordinary curious onlookers. Despite the absence of tangible evidence, the Ark influences generations. Studies, manuscripts, and oral traditions attempt to capture its meaning, but nothing replaces the experience of approaching its aura. Some say that the true treasure is not physical, but spiritual. The sensation of touching something that transcends time and matter. This perception transforms the archaeological quest into an inner journey, an exploration of mystery and faith. And it is on this threshold between history and spirituality that revelations begin to multiply. Each account, each attempt at observation, strengthens the myth of the Ark as a guardian of sacred knowledge. The impossibility of seeing it creates reverence and curiosity, establishing a link between the human and the divine world. Historians bow before the enigma, while visitors feel the weight of the sacred. It is a reminder that not everything that matters can be measured or recorded. And, in this mystery that defies reason, connections emerge with the cultural transformation that the Ark brought to Ethiopia. Among the ancient scrolls, one book stands out, the Kebra Nagast, the Book of the Glory of Kings. In it, the story of Menelik I and the Ark is narrated with rich detail, blending facts, legends, and spiritual wisdom. Each page is like a portal to the past, where kings, gods, and divine messengers walk side by side. The text not only records events but also preserves teachings about faith, power, and responsibility. And, as the reader turns these lines, they feel part of an ancestral secret. Kebra Nagast connects Ethiopia to the traditions of the Middle East, showing how the Ark crossed continents and cultures. Through verses and chapters, we learn that the Ark is not merely a physical object, but a symbol of unity, knowledge, and divine protection. The words carry hidden codes, signs, and clues that only the attentive can perceive. It's as if each phrase tells not only a story, but also teaches how to interpret the spiritual world. And, in this labyrinth of wisdom, new mysteries begin to emerge. The text emphasizes the role of Menelik and his guardians, detailing rituals, oaths, and paths taken to protect the Arkansas. Each narrative reinforces the belief that the relic is alive, and that its protection requires devotion and discipline. The lines of the Kebra Nagast function as symbolic maps, guiding those who seek to understand the essence of the sacred. More than history, it is a manual of spirituality, full of enigmas that defy any superficial understanding. And within its pages, the Ark shines in silence. Besides preserving the history of the Ark, the book records Ethiopia's connection to older traditions, revealing influences from other peoples and cultures. It suggests that ancestral wisdom was not lost, but preserved in symbols, texts, and rituals carefully transmitted. Each verse seems like an invitation to delve into spiritual dimensions that transcend matter, as if the Ark itself were speaking through the written word. And, in this dialogue between the past and the present, Ethiopian tradition becomes even more fascinating. Even for those who only read superficially, the Kabra Nagast evokes the feeling that something powerful is being revealed. It is an invitation to look beyond the visible, to decipher secrets that have withstood the test of time. Each ancient manuscript reinforces the idea that the Ark is more than history. It is living knowledge, preserved energy, and a connection to the divine. And it is from this point that the conflicts and challenges faced by those who guard the Ark begin to become clear. Protecting the Ark of the Covenant has never been an easy task. Throughout the centuries, kings and guardians faced internal and external threats, from power-hungry invaders to dissidents who wished to touch the sacred object. Every decision made by Ethiopian leaders carried the weight of millennia, as if the Ark itself observed and judged their choices. Protecting the object was not only physical but spiritual, demanding purity, courage, and wisdom. And in this challenge, history intertwines with myth, creating a rich and complex narrative. Political pressures also shaped the Ark's fate. Kings tried to use its presence as a symbol of power, consolidating alliances or commanding respect. But any undue manipulation seemed to provoke imbalances, reinforcing that the Ark belongs to no one and only responds to those who understand its true meaning. This delicate balance between politics and spirituality marked generations, teaching that the sacred demands care and reverence. And, in this scenario, every step could be decisive. Throughout the centuries, crises and wars tested the courage of the guardians. Each invasion or conflict was a test of faith, where not only territory but the very essence of the sacred was at stake. The monks learned early on that protecting the Ark meant preserving the soul of a nation. Each victory or defeat added layers to the legend, making the story of the Ark a living lesson in perseverance and devotion. And, amidst dangers and trials, the mystery deepened. Beyond the physical threats, there were subtle, almost imperceptible spiritual challenges. Potential desecrators, curious individuals, or even leaders with misguided intentions were kept away by mysterious signs, as if the Ark itself decided who could approach. Legends tell of lights, winds, and even voices that protected the object, reminding us that the sacred is active and vigilant. Each phenomenon reinforced the idea that the Ark is not just history, but a living presence, always attentive to the hearts of those who approach. Even in the face of all dangers and pressures, the Ark survived the test of time, keeping its energy and secrets intact. Each generation that protected it left a mark of courage, faith, and reverence. And, as the modern world moves forward, the legend persists, reminding us that there are mysteries that defy official history. The path to understanding what the Ark truly represents remains open, inviting the curious and the devout to discover the next chapter of Ethiopian tradition. Throughout the centuries, stories of mysterious events have reinforced the belief in the presence of the Ark in Axum. Accounts from travelers, monks, and guardians speak of signs that defy explanation, such as lights that appear without apparent origin and murmurs that echo in the temples. Each account is silent proof of the energy emanating from the sacred, reminding us that the Ark is not just an object, but a living force. And as these stories multiply, the fascination grows, inviting exploration of the unknown. Archaeological discoveries in the region also shed light on the ancient presence of sacred relics. Ruins, inscriptions, and ancient temples reveal a connection between Ethiopia and other Middle Eastern cultures. Each stone and each vestige seems to whisper of the passage of the Ark, reinforcing the tradition that it has rested there for millennia. The combination of physical evidence and spiritual narrative creates an enigmatic picture that challenges historians and archaeologists to this day. Unexplained phenomena are reported by those who have access to the sacred sites. Some visitors speak of energies surrounding them, a feeling of presence, and even visions of light illuminating the path. Monks assure that these signs indicate that the Ark responds to faith and purity of heart. It is as if the relic itself decides to reveal itself, albeit subtly and symbolically. And, in this silent dialogue, the secrets remain alive and vibrant. Furthermore, oral tradition preserves accounts of spiritual revelations. Ancient guardians speak of dreams and visions that guide decisions, pointing to important locations and rituals. Each experience is considered a teaching, a way to maintain the connection between the Ark, the divine, and the Ethiopian people. This wisdom, passed down from generation to generation, keeps the energy of the sacred alive and strengthens the belief that the Ark is, in fact, in Axum. Even in modern times, these discoveries and signs continue to fascinate the world. Researchers, devotees, and the curious realize that there is something beyond known history, a tradition that blends archaeology, spirituality, and myth. Each recorded event and each reported phenomenon is a reminder that the Ark remains alive, guarding secrets that defy reason and invite deeper exploration. And it is at this point that connections with other cultures and hidden legacies emerge. The presence of the Ark in Ethiopia transcends mere history. It shaped the soul of a people. Churches, temples, and paintings reflect symbols inspired by the relic, with gold, cherubs, and lights reminiscent of its sacred brilliance. Ethiopian art has become a reflection of spirituality, where each stroke carries the memory of devout generations. Chants and rituals, passed down from father to son, keep the energy of the Ark alive. And so, tradition becomes identity, deeply intertwined with the local culture. Ethiopian religion also received strength and direction through the legend of the Arkansas. It became a center of faith, determining rituals, festivals, and daily prayers. Each ceremony is a reminder of the divine presence and the responsibility to protect the sacred. The impact of the Ark goes beyond liturgy. It influences morality, ethics, and community values. And, in this intertwining of faith and daily life, the myth of the Ark is perpetuated. In the fields of music and literature, the Ark has inspired narratives and melodies that span centuries. Poems and hymns describe its power, its journeys, and the wisdom it carries. Oral storytelling keeps the memory of the sacred alive, transmitting teachings that writing cannot fully capture. Each verse, each song, reinforces the people's connection to divine history. And it is this cultural heritage that connects the past to the present. Ethiopian architecture is also marked by the influence of the Arkansas churches and chapels were erected with symbolic orientation, positioned to reflect the sacred path and spiritual energy of the relic. Every detail, from construction to decoration, is designed to keep the presence of the divine alive. Artists and architects absorb the tradition, transforming it into works that educate and inspire. And, in this dialogue between physical and sacred space, culture flourishes. Even in modern times, the Ark continues to impact national identity. It is a symbol of pride, spirituality, and continuity, connecting Ethiopians to a heritage that defies time. Each generation feels the call of tradition, preserving ancestral rituals, values, and beliefs. The legend of the Ark has shaped not only religion and art, but an entire way of understanding the world and the sacred. And it is in this cultural legacy that the next secrets of history begin to unfold. The Ark of the Covenant is much more than a golden object. It acts as a point of spiritual energy that permeates the daily lives of Ethiopians. In rituals and meditations, monks and worshippers feel a presence that guides thoughts and intentions. Every prayer, every gesture, is marked by respect and attention, because they believe that the Ark transforms not only the environment, but the spirit of those who approach it. And, in this flow of energy, life becomes a reflection of the sacred. The mystical practices associated with the Ark include chants, symbolic gestures, and silent meditations. It is believed that the relic's energy strengthens the connection with the divine, revealing paths for important decisions and spiritual protection. Each movement follows ancient traditions, passed down through generations, keeping ancestral wisdom alive. For devotees, the Ark is a direct channel between the human and the sacred. And in this encounter, the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. Among the population, the Ark inspires faith and reverence in daily life. It is not limited to temples or ceremonies. Its symbolic presence is felt in family stories, domestic prayers, and festivities. Every daily gesture becomes an opportunity to connect with the energy that the Ark represents. Thus, ordinary life connects with spiritual dimensions, bringing balance and purpose. And it is in this connection that the Ark reveals its silent power. The spiritual connection is also reflected in visible symbols: crosses, paintings, amulets, and even religious architecture. Each element carries traces of the Ark's energy, reminding the faithful of the importance of devotion and the protection of the sacred. Religious practice, then, is not merely formality, but a living experience of divine presence and energy. It is as if the Ark touches every aspect of human existence. And in this touch, ancient secrets continue to guide and inspire. Even for those observing from the outside, the spiritual power of the Ark is palpable. Visitors report feelings of peace, deep awe, and introspection when approaching sacred sites. Tradition shows that the Ark not only influences faith, but also transforms consciousness and perception of the world. It teaches that the divine manifests itself in small actions, gestures, and thoughts. And it is in this constant dialogue between the human and the sacred that the next mystery of Ethiopian history is revealed. The Ark of the Covenant is not merely a relic, it is the guiding thread of the Ethiopian soul. It has shaped how the people see the world, their faith, and their spiritual duty. Each generation has been given the responsibility of preserving the tradition, keeping alive values of courage, devotion, and reverence. The history of the Ark transcends time, connecting past, present, and future in an invisible yet palpable way. And in this connection, the identity of the people is silently strengthened. Ethiopian spirituality is deeply rooted in the presence of the Arkansas rituals, prayers, and festivals reflect its symbolic power, guiding behavior and morals. More than a sacred object, it has become a mirror of the collective soul, teaching that protecting the sacred is protecting one's own inner life. The Ark thus transformed faith into practice, a philosophy of life, and community consciousness. And in this flow, the legacy continues to pulsate. Ethiopia's ethical and social values were also influenced by the tradition of the Arkansas. Justice, responsibility, and respect for others were taught through stories, legends, and symbols linked to the relic. Every gesture, from prayer to the administration of the kingdom, carried a reminder of divine power and the importance of righteousness. The Ark thus became the moral and spiritual compass of society, and, in this guidance, the culture solidified. Furthermore, the Ark strengthened the feeling of national unity. The shared belief in its presence creates invisible bonds between peoples, regions, and communities. It symbolizes not only faith, but also resistance, resilience, and the continuity of a millennia-old tradition. History and myth merge, creating a legacy that defies time and official history. And, in this intertwining, Ethiopian identity projects itself as a living witness to the sacred. Even today, the Ark's legacy inspires reverence and curiosity. It is not merely a memory of the past, but a living force that shapes spirituality, values, and culture. Each generation inherits the challenge of understanding and honoring this secret, keeping it relevant to the modern world. The Ark continues to be a beacon, a symbol, and a guide, reminding us that some mysteries resist the passage of time. And it is at this point that new questions and possibilities arise to be explored. Today, the Ark of the Covenant still pulsates in Ethiopian culture, influencing not only faith but also customs, music, and festivities. Its symbolic presence guides rituals and celebrations, reminding the population of the spiritual heritage that spans centuries. Tradition keeps alive the respect for the sacred, even in modern times, intensely connecting Ethiopia to the past. Every daily gesture carries echoes of this ancient, silent, yet powerful presence. And in this context, the Ark continues to shape the identity of the people. Ethiopian religion remains deeply rooted in the narrative of the Arkansas churches and monasteries maintain rituals of observance and reverence, and monks continue to transmit ancestral teachings. The faithful see in the Ark not only history, but a source of spiritual guidance, inspiration, and inner strength. It has become a symbol of continuity, resilience, and living faith, uniting generations under a common purpose. And, in this experience, tradition maintains its transformative role. The global fascination with the Ark also reinforces its contemporary legacy. Researchers, writers, and curious individuals from various parts of the world are drawn to its enigmatic history. Documentaries, books, and debates spark interest, but rarely manage to penetrate the sacred veil that protects the relic. This aura of mystery keeps alive the dialogue between culture, spirituality, and imagination, making the Ark a universal symbol of mystery and devotion. And within this fascination, new questions arise with each generation. The Ark also influences modern Ethiopian art, appearing in paintings, music, literature, and architecture. Each work seeks to capture not only its form, but the energy and aura that tradition attributes to it. This contemporary creativity keeps alive the connection between the ancestral past and the cultural present, demonstrating that the sacred is not distant, but pulsates in every artistic expression. And, in this intersection between history and creativity, the legacy is perpetuated. Even in today's world, the Ark remains a silent guide, reminding us that some mysteries are eternal. It teaches values of faith, respect, and preservation of spiritual heritage, connecting people and cultures. Each generation that observes, studies, or honors it feels the presence of something greater, something that transcends documented history. It is a reminder that the sacred remains alive, even when invisible to the eyes. And it is at this point that the final mysteries of the narrative intertwine with a final reflection on the Ethiopian legacy. Even with centuries of history, the Ark of the Covenant remains surrounded by unanswered questions. Who really brought it to Ethiopia? What secrets does it hold that make it so invulnerable to time? Each attempt to understand its mysteries reveals more enigmas than answers. It's as if the Ark itself wanted to remain a secret, defying logic and human reason. And in this silence, curiosity grows, fueling legends and stories. Historians and archaeologists find clues, but never concrete proof. Relics, manuscripts, and ruins suggest paths, but the Ark remains hidden, inaccessible. Each partial discovery sparks new theories and speculations, but the core of the mystery persists. The fact that no one can fully see it strengthens its symbolic power. And, in this interplay between presence and absence, the Ark retains its ancestral charm. Unexplained phenomena continue to haunt those who approach the sacred site. Visitors report visions of light, sensations of energy, and silent messages, as if the living object were watching. Each account reinforces the idea that the Ark is not just history or myth, but an active and conscious presence. It tests the faith, the heart, and the purity of those who seek to know it. And, in this silent test, many mysteries still await to be unveiled. The fact that it is guarded by monks and protected by strict traditions increases the mystery. The sacred blends with secrecy, and the object becomes both real and symbolic. Each generation that attempts to study it leaves clues, but also contributes to the veil of legends that surrounds it. It is as if the Ark chooses the right moment to reveal its power, ensuring that only the worthy can understand. And, in this waiting period, the enigma remains intact. Despite all the research and global fascination, the Ark continues to defy time and history. It is a reminder that there are limits to human understanding, and that some truths belong only to the sacred. Each unanswered question fuels respect and admiration for the mystery that spans centuries. And it is in this space of doubt and reverence that the narrative prepares to reveal the final lessons and reflections on the Ark in Ethiopia. Every detail of the Ark seems to carry a coded message, as if each curve, line, and figure spoke an ancient language. The cherubs on the lid are not mere adornments. They represent protection, vigilance, and a direct connection to the divine. It's as if the Ark's invisible guardians send signals to the attentive, transmitting knowledge without using words. For those who know how to read its symbols, every centimeter is a lesson in ancient wisdom. And, in this interplay of forms and meanings, even more mysteries unfold. The inscriptions and golden patterns are interpreted as spiritual maps, indicating paths of energy, balance, and revelation. Some scholars suggest that the light reflected in the gold is part of the code, illuminating messages only for the pure of heart. Every detail of the Ark reinforces that it is more than a physical object. It is a vehicle for spiritual understanding. It is as if the relic itself speaks in silence, guiding those who approach with true intention. And, in this silent dialogue, the mysteries continue to challenge the curious. Geometric patterns and symmetry also carry profound symbolism. They represent harmony, cosmic order, and the connection between heaven and earth. For the ancients, understanding these signs meant comprehending the universal principles that govern life and spirituality. Each symbol acts as a key to deciphering secrets that cannot be taught with words. And, in this visual enigma, the Ark continues to guide and protect. Furthermore, each ritual gesture surrounding the Ark reinforces the symbolic language. The guardian's positions, the movements during ceremonies, and even the direction of prayers are part of a sacred communication. Everything indicates that the Ark not only holds energy but also teaches how to interpret it. For those who perceive it, it is both teacher and guardian. And, in this silent learning, the next layers of revelation emerge. Even for lay people, the aura of symbols conveys respect and admiration. Those who observe feel that each pattern has a purpose, each gleam a reason, each form a lesson. The Ark is a living book, written with golden light, that communicates values, faith, and ancient secrets. And, in this visual and spiritual mystery, the viewer is invited to seek more, knowing that each answer leads to new questions. Popular legends about the Ark of the Covenant have circulated through Ethiopian villages for centuries, imbued with magic, reverence, and mystery. They tell that those who approach with faith are blessed, while the curious or impure feel invisible pressures that repel them. Each story, passed down orally, keeps the memory of the sacred alive and teaches respect for the secrets of the divine. And, in this cycle of tales, the myth becomes reality in the heart of the listener. Some accounts speak of inexplicable miracles, sudden healings, protection against enemies, and luminous signs that appear out of nowhere. These experiences reinforce the belief that the Ark is not merely a relic, but a living presence, acting upon the world and upon people. Each narrative conveys values of faith, patience, and courage, transforming the fear of the unknown into admiration for the sacred. And, in this fascination, oral tradition keeps the Ark always close to the people. The tales also describe monks and guardians who possess special gifts, guided by the Ark in dreams or visions. They are the intermediaries between the divine and humanity, transmitting teachings encoded in words and gestures. Each account, each gesture, reinforces the protective aura of the Ark, reminding us that it selects who can approach its power. And, in this silent selection, the stories take on a life of their own. Some legends still speak of secret journeys and rituals that connect the Ark to other sacred places in the world. These narratives suggest that Ethiopia is just one point within a global spiritual network, where the Ark acts as a guardian of universal wisdom. Each tale adds new layers of meaning, transforming tradition into continuous and profound learning. And, in this intertwining of stories, the mysteries continue to multiply. Even for those who listen only out of curiosity, the popular accounts carry valuable teachings about devotion, patience, and reverence. Each legend reminds us that there are forces beyond what is seen, and that the story of the Ark is not just about objects, but about experiences, faith, and transformation. And, in this space between myth and reality, the narrative prepares for the final topic, where the entire legacy intertwines in reflection and contemplation. The Ark of the Covenant in Ethiopia remains a link between the human and the divine, carrying centuries of mystery and reverence. Its presence has shaped the spirituality, culture, and identity of an entire people, becoming a symbol of faith, protection, and wisdom. Each ritual, each legend, and each symbol reinforces that it is more than history. It is living energy, transmitted from generation to generation. And, in this legacy, the sacred becomes tangible, even when invisible. The influence of the Ark permeates every corner of daily life, in churches, songs, festivals, and simple gestures. Every detail of Ethiopian tradition reflects profound teachings about ethics, courage, and devotion. It inspires respect for mystery and the continuity of history, reminding us that certain secrets belong only to the heart of those who seek to understand. And, in this silent presence, the Ark teaches that true power lies in faith and balance. Even in the face of unanswered questions and historical enigmas, the Ark continues to fascinate the world. It shows that human understanding has limits, and that some mysteries must be lived and felt, not just explained. This perception transforms curiosity into reverence, reminding us that the sacred transcends time and logic. And, in this space of contemplation, each spectator becomes part of the story that is still being written. The legacy of the Ark is also an invitation to reflect on humanity itself. It reminds us that protecting the sacred is preserving values, culture, and spirituality, and that every act of devotion connects past, present, and future. Even without seeing it, we feel its influence, for it shaped a people and a civilization that remain faithful to memory and mystery. And, in this intertwining of history and faith, the modern world meets the ancient. And, contemplating the Ark of the Covenant, we realize that some mysteries withstand the test of time not because they are inaccessible, but because they teach us patience, humility, and respect. Its silent presence challenges reason, inspires the spirit, and connects cultures and generations. It is a reminder that true wisdom lies in reverence for the unknown and in the preservation of what is sacred. And, in this ancestral echo, each one feels part of a secret that spans the centuries, waiting to be discovered. And so, the Ark of the Covenant remains a silent beacon of ancestral wisdom, connecting the past and the present, the human and the divine. It reminds us that certain mysteries endure through time not because they are lost, but because they teach patience, reverence, and respect for the sacred. Each legend, each ritual, each symbol is an invitation to reflect on our own connection to history and to what we consider sacred. The legacy of the Ark lives on in Ethiopian culture, in the spirituality of its people, and in the fascination it awakens in all who dare to approach its secrets. It teaches us that protecting what is sacred is also preserving values, faith, and collective identity, and that even in the face of the unknown, it is possible to find inspiration, courage, and contemplation. As we conclude this journey, we are reminded that the story of the Ark does not end here. It continues to pulsate in temples, traditions, and in the imagination of those who seek to understand the mystery of the divine. Each generation that observes or protects it adds a layer to the legend, perpetuating a secret that spans millennia. If you were fascinated by this ancient story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave a comment about what intrigued you most in this journey through time and the sacred. The wisdom of ancient African civilizations still has much to reveal, and you can continue discovering it with us. The Ark of the Covenant in Ethiopia teaches us that the true legacy lies not only in what we see, but in faith, preservation, and the mystery that connects us to something greater. And as long as there are curious seekers, its secrets will remain alive, defying time and inspiring generations.